everybody. I'm Celeste Barnette. I am the very happy and proud principal at Diegueño Middle School, and I have a friend here today. Who are you?
Hi, everyone. I'm Staci Valdez. I'm new PTSA president at Diegueño.
And I didn't want to spend an hour talking at you, and so I invited Staci along so we can make this a little more interactive. She is a brand new parent to Diegueño too, and so she's going to ask questions that are legitimate, real questions that she has. They're not staged.
Nope.
We also have the chat open, so if you have any questions, feel free to type them in, and we'll make this as interactive as we can. But we're going to go ahead and get started here. All right, let me go to the second screen here. So as all of you probably know, many children were on campus today for Cougar Camp. These are pictures that you're looking at from today. So maybe you can find your kiddo in there somewhere. It was so fun to have them here. It really was. We were saying earlier, it's just such a great vibe. We've missed having the kids around. We sort of took attendance as they came in, and we gave them each a bracelet that told them what was the first classroom they were going to head to. We didn't want to overwhelm them with everywhere they had to go. We just got them to their first classroom. And then they went through 3 different sessions. So based on the attendance, we know about 68% of our incoming 7th graders were here today, which I thought was great for over summer break. That's pretty good.
Yeah. That's
so
good.
Really happy to have so many kids here. We also had some of our superstar 8th graders here to help kids find their way. They led the tours towards the end. So 3 things happened, because I know kids may not tell you what happened today, so I'll let you all know. And you're going to get much of the same information right now. So they had 3 different sessions that they rotated through. We did icebreakers, so some fun games, and I don't think I have a slide of that up there. You can see in the top left, one of our teachers, Miss Carney, she's a 7th grade English teacher. She was leading one of the sessions that I think she was doing one called Cougar Pride. So it was about, again, we're going to talk about this together, what activities we have going on, how we treat each other, which is with kindness, introducing everybody to some of the VIPs on campus. And then the 3rd session, so icebreakers, Cougar Pride, and the 3rd one was nuts and bolts. Again, we're going to talk about that a lot tonight. How does our bell schedule work? How do the lunch lines work? PE clothes, all those just nuts and boltsy kind of things we wanted to front load them with as well. So today was super fun. All right, and then they left with a popsicle. So yay. Okay, so this is you're here.
We're starting with me.
Okay. So maybe just in case a few people came in, and introduce yourself.
I will.
Again.
So I'll start again. My name is Staci Valdez. I have an incoming 7th grader named Aspen. I just finished my presidency at OPE, so I'm not new to being the PTSA president, but I am new to Diegueño. So I'm excited. It's a whole new community of people from all over, and I'm excited to get to know whoever I can. I basically spent the summer, talking to parents and administration and board members and anyone I could get my hands on to explain the needs that Diegueño has and why they need the money they need and how it's been going. And I don't know that we've really recovered fully from COVID when it comes to fundraising and getting the community back together and understanding what the PTSA really does. So I just wanted to give you a little pitch on what it is that we want to do. My focus is going to be on academic classroom support. We want to bring back the teacher mini grants. That's a budget item that had to be cut. And the sad part about that, in the past it had to be cut, is that that's how your kids directly benefit from the PTSA. So I'm going to really focus on getting the teachers what they need for their classrooms. They need digital subscriptions. They need supplemental curriculum. They need materials. Sometimes they need furniture, that the district is not going to provide. Something like balls on the blacktop for when the kids have a break. They need a basketball. They need a volleyball. They need a soccer ball. We want to provide that stuff for them to keep them busy. And of course, all along building the community so that they feel like they're part of something. And I think that that's the most important part about this time. I think there's this misconception that this is kind of a transient experience. It's 2 years, you're in, you're out, and then you're done. But this is such a vital transition for our kids. We're being told to give them more independence. We're not coming on campus, but we really still need to support them behind the scenes. And so for me, yes, we're giving the independence, but we're also still going to lift them up. And the way we do that is funding the classrooms and still giving them that sense of community so they feel like they're part of something. And one thing I want to mention as we go down these bullet points, the S in PTSA. Many of you, if you're coming from really, I guess, any elementary school, you're probably familiar with the PTA. Here at Diegueño, it's the PTSA, and that's the students. And we're so lucky to have the ASB here, the student-led organization, student government, student leadership. They plan all the social events.
Yes.
The teachers are really heavily involved. So I'm not here to beg you to help me and to beg you to volunteer. That's just not really a huge need. It's really about funding the need, because the students do so much. If you are someone that wants to volunteer, hit me up, because we have a really important Red Ribbon Week.
Yes.
In middle school. It's a lot more directed toward the choices these kids are going to be facing. Vaping, it's not just eat an apple. It's like healthy, don't do drugs, that kind of stuff. So Red Ribbon Week is a bigger thing in middle school. We still do teacher appreciation. We 8th grade promotion.
Yes.
Supporting the kids during testing week. There's plenty that you can do if you want
Absolutely.
to volunteer, but PTA 0 time commitment. So we're just begging you for your money. I want to tell you really quick about the perks that we're offering the kids. So many people have texted me and say, what is a cardio pass? And so I'm just going to run through the perks really quick. The first big change is that we're adding membership toolkit. So if your PTA had that in your elementary school, you can log right in and just join this organization. And it's going to give you access to the school directory. Everyone who's joined. A big need I heard this summer was, I'd like to know where my kids are. They say I'm going to so-and-so's house, but you don't know those parents. They're from a different area of Encinitas, so you don't know where they live. And that's what we're hoping to fulfill, that need, that you can log in on your phone. It's a free app. You can look up the kid's name, and you know the parents' names and where they live, and it's private.
I was gonna say, can you join and not give your directory information?
You can. Okay. It's full. You can totally opt out when you're doing it. You can say, I don't want anyone to know where I live, and that's fine too. And right now, it's only members who have access to that.
Okay.
So that's a big deal. We're going to do, depending on the level that you join, we're going to do raffles for local gift cards. Cardio passes are where
it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So it's in PE. The kids will understand this after the first week or so. It is a way so they don't have to do as much cardio for a day. They don't have to go run the mile. I mean, they still have to meet the standards and things like that, but it gives them
a little
an out every now and then.
Yeah. Yes. And the big one we're excited about is, you can, at a certain membership level, your kid can get a front of line lunch pass.
This is the biggest thing ever. In fact, I've got one in my drawer. Let me show you what a front of the line pass looks like. So
the classes do rotate during lunch. So different classes will be in the front of the line, but it can be a 10-15-minute process.
Correct. Yeah. So yes, if they have a front of the line pass, again, just like it sounds like, they bypass the line, they come up to the front, there's an administrator there watching and supervising, and they hand it in, and they get to skip the 10 to 15 minutes.
Skip the line, VIP.
Have more time to visit with their friends.
That's it.
Yeah.
We're offering Spiritwear discounts. The Spiritwear store is open right now. If you want some Diegueño gear, your kid might not, but you might.
Yeah.
Go for it. We're going to do VIP seating and parking at promotion.
Yes.
We even have a level that provides VIP bike parking. And there's a certain benefactor level where we're putting plaques on the building. On that note, as we're talking about, give us your money, you realize that we are a very socioeconomically diverse community. Yes. And so in looking at these different levels, we need to look at all of the budgets that we represent, all of the household budgets that we are representing. And I think we've done a good job. You can start your membership at $25, and it really is a pay what you can situation. So we are trying to be sensitive to everyone's priorities. Optional donating is not a priority for a lot of families. And so we're trying to be sensitive to that while letting people that want to participate, please join us. I'm almost done. Also, for those of you who are used to EEF bugging you after PTA, there's no foundation at the middle school level. So you won't get an EEF request. And so I won't be shy about asking you to reroute those funds right back into Diegueño. Same thing with corporate match. We do it. We'll set it up. We'll help you. And then the last thing I want to address is that another misconception that 8th grade is like, well, this is my last year at the school. Why would I invest in the school? It's not the school you're investing in. It's this year, your child. So 8th graders have the same academic support, the same assemblies, the same PE equipment, and just like 6th grade, they're kind of the most expensive grade in the sense that we're putting on promotion, we're scholarshiping kids on field trips. So 8th grade is still valid to join the PTSA because I promise you, all of these funds are going to be used this year. That's my pitch. I'm done. Just wanted you to know, if you have any questions, my contact information is here. Obviously, ask in the chat.
The
And-
QR code is where they can scan to,
Yep.
to donate.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay,
And
cool.
yeah, introduce yourself if you see me around.
Hey, we're so happy to have you here. Okay,
Me too.
so if you joined a little bit late, just so you know, Staci is our PTSA president. This is Celeste Barnette, the principal. We're going to have a discussion here, but you are welcome to pose your questions in the chat as well. So some ways to find out what's going on campus. We've talked about this before, how students at this age may tend to sort of push you away and be like, I got this kind of thing. And they need you now more than ever, just in different ways. And so there's ways you can find out what's going on. I would say our Instagram is probably, honestly, one of the best ways to keep up with what's going on. I post
really
on
good.
there all the time. I'm going to post some pictures from Cougar Camp later today. It's Diegueño MS. And it's just a way, like, while the dance is going on, I will be posting. So it's almost like live tweeting. You know, you can see what's happening, know your kids are happy and safe, that kind of thing. So if you're on social media, Diegueño MS. I send out a weekly newsletter. I have a lot of people help me with it. In the future, it will be on Fridays. I have been a little bit, sometimes it's been Saturdays, sometimes it's been Sundays since we're getting the school year started. But over the weekend, you will get a newsletter. And there's often very important information in there. So I would ask that you take a peek at that.
And it comes over email.
Correct.
But we figured out that there's another way.
Talk about the Parent Square app.
So it comes through your email. You see that you've got the email. You click on the link to get to the newsletter.
Mhm.
And I'm hearing from some people that they kind of start to give up on
I
that,
get that.
right? Because you have to go into your inbox and find it.
Mhm.
So we discovered that with the Parent Square app, scan this, download it onto your whatever kind of phone you have, and make sure your notifications are on, and you'll get a notification that the Cougar connection's been set,
Right.
and it'll just pop up on your phone. You can read it without ever having to address the inbox.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
That's good.
it's pretty and it's
Yeah.
more convenient.
Lots of pictures in it
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
There's another QR code up there on the left if you want to scan that will allow you to subscribe to the school events calendar. It's actually a Google Calendar. It helps us. I mean, obviously Cougar Connection and on Instagram, we're going to tell you what's coming up, right now. But if you want to look ahead and see you're planning on going somewhere or scheduling a doctor's appointment and you want to know what class your kid's going to miss, you can look forward and see, is it a single period day, which we'll talk about in a minute? Is it a block schedule day? All of that, all of the dates for the dances are already on there. So again, if you're planning to go out of town, but you don't want your kid to miss the dance, it's all on that calendar and it's live. So we can update it, all the time as things shift and change.
And then you subscribe to it and it's brown in your own Google Calendar.
It's different colors
Is
for
it?
different
Okay,
people.
for me,
Yeah.
it's brown.
Yes.
Yep.
And if it's too much on your screen, you just uncheck it and then you put it back on when you want it. Anyway, that's a new way we figured out to help keep you up to date on what's going on. All right. Let's go to the next one here. So campus fun. Lots and lots and lots of ways for kids to have fun on campus. So we've got student-led clubs. So we'll do a club rush, which again is on that school calendar already. We'll do a club rush in the fall and in the spring. Now we have pre-existing clubs, but also if your kid has something they're really interested in, I don't know, Harry Potter, whatever, Dungeons and Dragons, whatever it might be, they can create a club of their own. They just need an advisor. They just get a teacher. They fill out a super simple application, and then they will get a table at the club fair and they can recruit kids to join, or kids who don't want to create their own, and that's fine. It's almost like a street fair and they get to walk around and learn about what's out there and sign up to join clubs. So student-led clubs. We have lots of spirit days, dress-up days. Kids do wear pajamas a lot to school. It's not a violation of the dress code. If you don't like it, that's okay. But lots of kids wear pajamas and Crocs every day. And that's all right. We have 2 dances a year. Last year we had one that was a winter wonderland dance, and we had a snow machine. It was the coolest thing ever. It was so magical. But we also know that middle school kids don't want to dance a lot. They jump a lot. They do a lot of jumping. But we have a DJ who works with middle schoolers all the time. And so he also has games. So they do limbo, they do the Congo line, they do all kinds of things. And then our Cougar Hall, our multi-purpose room, is set up as a full-on game center. So there's a gaga pit and just a photo booth. And there's tons to do, even if your kid isn't a dancer.
Is it teachers that monitor
Yes,
that event?
yes, it's very, very, very well supervised and super fun. And there's food and all kinds of stuff. So dances are fun. We have lots of lunchtime activities. Again, these are already on that calendar if you want to see. Staff and student competitions. I don't think I have a picture up there of it, but we have big tricycles on campus. And so one of the funnest things is to get, especially the grown-ups on those tricycles, racing around the quad. So we do a lot of relay races. I think there is a tug of war that you can see there. Lots of fun things and just healthy competition, not negative. You don't have to be super athletic. I tell them I need to be able to do it, and I'm 57 years old, so it can't be, I'm not playing kickball. I'm sorry, I'm just not. So, but really fun stuff. And then you'll see over on the right, there's two new things or some things we're bringing back this year. We have an amazing ASB director this year. Her name is Kelly Casaza, and she's also our art teacher, and she's amazing. So this year we're going to bring back a zombie fun run. It's going to happen around Halloween, which makes sense, through their PE classes. And so you'll learn more about that later. And then we are in Skate Central and Encinitas, skateboarding. Obviously, there's a big skate culture here. So if you have children who went to SDA or go to SDA, San Diego Academy, they have a full day of skateboarding demos, and professional skateboarders come and they set up ramps, and it's the coolest thing. So we're going to do a smaller version of that. We already know that one of our alumni, Bryce Wetstein, who was an Olympian, she was in the Olympics most recently, she's going to come back and skate. And we have a connection with Tony Hawk, so we're going to see if we can get Tony Hawk here. No promises yet, but super cool day. So
awesome.
lots and lots and lots of fun things. Okay. So, and I'm still keeping an eye on the chat. So if you have questions as I'm going through, I'm happy to address those. Another fun way that kids can be connected is through sports. And our sports are hosted by the Boys and Girls Club. A student today asked me if you have to be a member of the Boys and Girls Club. And I said, nope, absolutely not. So you can see up on the screen there's 3 different seasons. Every season there is at least one no-cut sport, so you don't have to try out for it. So in the fall, you can see cross country. They're all kind of running. But in the winter, it's running club, and in the spring, it's track and field. So every kid who tries out and who shows up can be on those teams. There are other teams where every kid makes the cut. So there are some that are more competitive than others. There are some like basketball where there's an 8th grade team and a 7th grade team. But anyway, it is pretty open, and the people who run it are great. So if that's something you're interested in, on our website, and I also think I have a link on Instagram and our link tree about how to get to the Boys and Girls Club website. We'll be sharing this with kids through our advisory, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So they'll get this information constantly, but wanted you all to know. Yeah. Okay. We have some new faces in our counseling center. And if you're new to the school, they're all new to you. I'm super excited about our team right now. And if you want to know which counselor your child will be working with this year, it's divided by their last name. So Sarah Wilhelms is going to be serving students whose last names start with A through G. So Sarah Wilhelms. And Laura Martin will be serving students whose last names start with H through Z. Okay, and all this is on the website too. So, and I'll be sending this out. Carolyn Kinnear in the middle there is our registrar. So when you call the counseling center, she's probably the one that will answer the phone, and she'll help direct you to the right person. Deanna Manzano is our social worker. She is bilingual, so that's helpful. And then Carlos Fletes, who is also bilingual, is a student support facilitator. What all of these people together can help you and your child with, obviously academics. So if there's any scheduling questions that you have, especially in the first few weeks of school, preferably the first few days of school, if you feel like you pushed and you challenged your kid to take maybe an honors class and they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, no big deal. We can do level changes within the first week or 2 of school, no problem. We can level up. So if you put your child in just the college prep, not just college prep level English, and they're getting started with their schedule, I'm like, I got this. I think I can do that honors that you tried to talk me into. And I said, no, we can do level changes. Well, just to let you know, so you won't make a lot of phone calls and be frustrated. We cannot do changes just from one teacher to another. So we can't do teacher shopping, so to speak. And electives are really tight right now. So I'm not going to say absolutely if your kid is in an elective and it's not what they love, it's worth a phone call, but they're scheduled pretty full right now. So there's just not a lot of wiggle room. Go ahead.
Someone
there
was
a question?
asking if the leveling up can happen anytime or just in the first 2 weeks.
There is a date. I don't have it memorized, but it's roughly within the first 2 to 3 weeks. After which you can't do it. But my recommendation is that you try to do that within the first week or two, because especially if they're leveling up, they're missing a lot of curriculum that they're going to need to make up. And it just becomes kind of difficult to maneuver if it doesn't happen pretty early on. And they start, connecting with their teachers and their friends who are in those classes. It's just harder for the kids, quite honestly, if you don't do it pretty early on. But we can always work with you. Make a call, email your counselor, and we can guide you through your child's individual situation.
What does Carlos do?
Carlos is just amazing and everything. He is a classified employee. So our employees are divided into certificated and classified. Our teachers and me and our counselors are certificated. He's a classified employee, so he's in the same category as our secretaries and things like that. Okay. So just so you kind of know, he cannot lead support groups. He's not going to be helping with some of the higher level social emotional things because he doesn't have that credential, but he is an amazing human being. The kids love him. He's super visible on campus. What he tends to spend a lot of time doing is helping kids whose grades have started to suffer a little bit. He'll meet individually with them, as will the counselors, but he really focuses on kids who are earning 1 or more D's or F's after a grading period, meets with them individually, develops a plan, communicates with you. He's kind of like a grade coach, cool, right? And the kids awesome. Just adore him.
I've heard his name around.
Coach Valdez. He's awesome. Yeah. So other things you can go to the counseling center for. So obviously academic things, but even I want to say just friend issues. So-and-so is being mean to me and they're leaving me out. I don't know how to help. I don't know what to do. Right. We can help with that. We're going to be doing support groups this year, and we're waiting to see what needs kind of emerge. But often we will have a grief group, for kids who have recently suffered some kind of a loss. We tend to have a girls group because there does tend to be more drama amongst our girls than our boys. Again, some of the being excluded or something happening on the internet, and they're not knowing quite how to navigate that. So we always have a girls group. Sometimes we have a boys group as well. We often have an LGBTQ group. Just it kind of depends on what kind of needs pop up and emerge from our kids. So those are some of the things that the counseling center can help you with. Okay, and I'm keeping an eye on chat, so feel free to pop questions in there. You probably are already aware of what classes most kids will take because you've already signed up for those, but every student will, or almost every student, will take an English class, a math class, a science class. In 7th grade year, they take world history. We might have some new 8th grade families here, so I'll say U.S. history is what 8th graders take. Physical education, every student takes that, and then an elective. So that's what a typical schedule will look like. Okay, so don't let this scare you. It looks like a lot, but I promise you the kids get it really, really quickly. So I'm going to walk you through what the week looks like. And I will also tell you that Carlos and myself, Mr. Valdez and myself and our assistant principal and lots of other people, lots of ASB kids will be out every day before school. I'm out by the bike racks. We'll talk about bikes more in a minute. But last year we had about 200 e-bikes coming on campus each day. And so I'm out there reminding them, even at the end of the year, walk your bike, walk your bike, walk your bike, buckle your helmet, kind of like a broken record. Yeah. But what I was going to say is one of the reasons that I'm out there is as the first bell rings at 8:10. Okay. School starts at 8:15. So they get a 5-minute warning bell. And at 8:10, I start saying, okay, 4 minutes, you're going to want to start hustling. Okay, 3 minutes. Okay, now you really need to run. You got to be all the way in your classroom. As they're coming in, I'm also saying, remember, today is a 1-3-5 day. You're heading to first period. Or today's a 2-4-6 day. Go to second period. Let's go to second period. So we'll remind them constantly. We will not let them get lost. the way the schedule works is on Mondays, we call it single period day. And you asked me a great question, like,
Yeah.
what does that
I
mean?
saw it on the calendar. I was like, they go to one single period?
No.
No, it means every
They
single
go to every single period. So they go to all 6 periods on Monday. Okay. Every other week, and I don't have this up here because I don't want to make it too confusing, but every other week we have a late start. So some schools do their professional development during an early out, and some schools do a late start. We do late starts on Monday. So again, if you subscribe to that school calendar, you'll see this, but it's also on our website if you want to just look. And I'll put Instagram posts to remind people that this is a late start Monday. Late starts, students start at 9:45. What's happening during that 8:15 to 9:45 time is that we are doing professional development together. So we're planning curriculum, we're comparing assessments, we're talking about kids who might need, extra support, all that kind of thing. So that's time for us to work together. They will still go to every single period. They'll just be even shorter. So that first day is really good, the first day of the week, because again, they'll see every teacher. It's a good opportunity just to check in and get a plan for what's going to happen the rest of the week. Right?
Right. So it won't necessarily be like a big homework day, or it'd be like a testing day, or like
a lot of teachers do tests on that day. Yeah, they tend to, what
it's short.
yes, what they'll do is on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, those periods are an hour and a half long. It's called block schedule. And that's great because then they have time to change into their PE clothes, play a full game, change out of their PE clothes. There's no time on Monday to change. It's just so fast.
Right.
If they're in a science lab, they can really do the entire science lab. I'm trying to think of other things. If they're in drama, they can rehearse an entire, 1-act play or something.
Right.
It just gives them a much deeper time. Yeah, go ahead.
2 questions,
Yes.
2 things.
Yeah.
One is, how early can they be on campus?
Right. So our campus is open pretty early. So I would say 7 o'clock. There's someone here.
Is that even on a late start day?
Yes, but late starts are a little bit tricky because again, we are in professional development and we are in the Learning Commons, which is one of the places where kids can go before school, and they can't come in there when we're in there, but most of the time it's sunny outside. And so they sit at tables outside. We do have a campus supervisor who's helping to supervise to make sure, nothing's going awry with them. If it were raining and we were in the Learning Commons, they weren't able to go there, we would open our multi-purpose room so they would have a place to go. Yeah,
there's a string of questions about that.
Okay,
So
let's see.
when are classes posted?
Okay.
How long are Monday periods?
Okay.
And when does block scheduling begin?
Awesome. I will answer every single one of those. Okay. So when do kids find out which elective they are in and when will classes be posted? Mosey Monday, next Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning. Schedules when I've got this on a slide in a minute, so I'll repeat this in a minute. No problem. Your kids' schedules will be posted in Aries. And you'll be able to see who their teachers are, what the classrooms are, and they can start comparing notes, which is what they're going to do as their friend in their class, right? So next Monday, 10 o'clock in the morning, you'll be able to view that. Kids can bring their phones when they come to Mosey Monday. I'm one who would go print it out and walk around with it. And they look at me like I'm crazy. They're just going to look on their phone with their schedule and walk around. And that works just fine.
Okay.
Length of classes. I'm looking at the schedule to make sure I tell you right. So single period Mondays that aren't late start, where they come at 8:15 and they leave at 2:45, they are just about an hour long, a little bit less than an hour long. On late starts, they are really short. So they're like 40 minutes long. They pass by really quickly. Did I hit all of those for right now?
So is there anything about that one? No.
Okay, we're looking at the questions real quick. Block
Oh,
scheduling begins. Okay, again, this is on that calendar if you subscribe to it. Next week, Tuesday will be a single period day, not late start, but they'll go to all 6 of their periods. Wednesday, just the first week of school, is also a single period day. That's also the day we're going to hand out Chromebooks, and I'll talk about that in a minute on the second day of school. Next week, we will go to the regular schedule that you see here on Thursday and Friday. So on Thursday, they will go to periods 1, 3, and 5. And on Friday, they will go to periods 2, 4, and 6. I love the block day schedules because it breathes better. It's not as hectic. They go to one class for an hour and a half, then they have a break. Then they go to another class for an hour and a half, then they have lunch. Then they go to another class for an hour and a half, and they go home.
That's awesome for homework.
Yes.
Yeah.
Less homework. They will
Yeah.
do just 3 classes worth of homework instead of all 6 most nights of the week. And to be honest, one of those classes is probably going to be either PE or their elective. And so they may only need to focus on doing homework for 2 classes a night. So,
This question
yes.
about how late is the multipurpose room open with the staff after school?
Awesome. The multi-purpose room is actually not where they will gather unless it's raining. Learning Commons will be open until at least 3:30, often till 4. We will also have after-school tutoring starting about 2 weeks into school. That will be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday afternoon for an hour after school. And I'll address that more in a minute.
Yeah,
Remind me if I
that's
don't
the
come
last
back to that.
question.
Tutoring. We'll get there in just a second. And Katie shared the bell schedule. Thank you. Appreciate
So
that.
are you going to tell us what CAT is too?
I will. It's on the next slide. Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, good point. But let's look at it here. You see it, the word cat written underneath 3rd period and 4th period on the last 4 days of the week. That's a 30-minute period when students stay with their either 3rd period or 4th period teacher. So they're in 3rd period. They've gone through the hour and a half of the curriculum of their English class or their math class or their elective. A bell rings and they don't leave the room, but we transition to CAT time. CAT stands for Cougar Academic Time. And it is a really great time when kids can get started on their homework so that you're not fighting with them at home. They can go to a class where they have maybe been absent and they missed a test, or they have an accommodation in their 504 accommodation plan or their IEP where they get time and a half to take a test. They can either go and finish a test during that time. Sometimes they start it during that time and then they finish it with the rest of the class later in the day. If a student is working on an essay and they want to go check in with their English teacher, it's just a great time to kind of take care of that type of business. If they don't have homework to do or they prefer to do it at home, whatever, they can read during that time.
Okay.
They're not roaming free. We do have a system where the receiving teacher, so if your math teacher needs to see you, they will kind of reserve your kid and they will call for them and they will come to them. So the kid can express to their teacher that they want to see them during CAT time, but they're not just wandering around. It is a controlled time. Yes. Okay, so let me go to the next screen because I'm going to talk about that a little bit more here. Perfect. Thank you for
Yeah.
helping me monitor
Yeah.
this.
I have a couple of text questions
Oh,
too.
awesome.
Anything about first day and PE close?
We're getting there. Yes, no, that's
All right.
perfect. Good, good, good. Keep those coming. Okay, so so our technical mission is academic progress, and that we very much care about, but middle school is also very much a time about their social emotional development. So we've already talked about some of the fun ways they can stay connected and things, but it's a transitional time, especially in the first couple of weeks. You might get some tears. It might seem like a lot academically, but they will hit their stride. I promise they will. And if they don't, we've got other supports in place. So over there on the left, a little bit more about CAT time that we talked about, touching on the social emotional piece. So again, CAT time is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, just before lunch. On Friday, it's a little bit different flavor. It's actually a homeroom or advisory. They do not move on that day. They're not going to go to other classes to get help on Friday. They stay in with their CAT teacher or their homeroom teacher, their advisory teacher, and social emotional lessons might be taught during that time. No place for hate lessons might be taught during that time. If we're administering something like a California Healthy Kids Survey or something like that, that happens during that period of time. We want kids to form a really even closer relationship than they do with their other classes with that teacher. And so just know that's another trusted adult, your kid's CAT teacher and their advisory teacher.
How many different CAT teachers are there on that Friday? Like how
Everybody who's teaching either 3rd or 4th period
Yeah.
has a CAT.
has a CAT?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have about 40 teachers on campus. So yeah. Good questions. Okay. After school tutoring, somebody asked about that. We'll get the schedule out again within the first 2 weeks of school. So in the first week or so, kids don't need after school tutoring, but a couple weeks in, we will for sure have a math teacher, probably multiple days math. That tends to be what kids need the most help with. And when, to be honest, parents sort of start to go, I'm not sure I know how to do this anymore. And so we will help your child with the advanced math if they're doing that. We typically have an English teacher on one day, a science teacher on one day, but most of our teachers can help with multiple subjects as well. And a lot of kids go to that after school tutoring, not necessarily because they need the support, but they need a quiet place to get started, or their parent is working and they need a place to be for an hour. So just know that that's a time and a space. Yeah, and it's free. It's free. Yeah. And then academic support electives, probably, this has already been handled with your child's schedule. But if you start the school year and you realize your child is feeling overwhelmed and you want to talk to the counselor about dropping their, I'm going to say fun elective, and they need an academic support class, we have a lot of them, and we can add kids into that later in the year, even past that official drop add deadline. So we have, I won't go into great detail, but your counselor can answer these questions too. But we have academic lab, which is a general education, not special education support class. College readiness is a form of AVID, if you know anything about AVID. It's very similar. ELD stands for English Language Development. So that's for some of our multilingual or English learners. Math skills is a math class that kids can take concurrently with their other math class. So let's say they're in College Prep Math 7, or they're in Math A Essentials, and they just need an extra dose of math. And the way it's sometimes scheduled, so they can take math skills, they'll have math skills on an even day, and they'll have their regular math class on an odd day, and that way they're getting math every single day. Some kids need that every single day. And then Read 180 is supporting students who aren't yet at grade level in reading. So there's lots of supports. And I've just put a note down there at the bottom that additional academic support classes for students who have IEPs or students with disabilities, that your case manager will be able to support you with. So there's additional classes that aren't on here that come through the IEP process. Okay, I'm still keeping an eye on the chat there. Nothing at the moment. Okay, technology. We are a one-to-one district, a one-to-one device per student district. So every student will be issued a brand new, we took all the Chromebooks back at the end of last year. So even 8th graders are going to get a brand new touchscreen Chromebook, brand new, fresh out of the box. So they're going to be distributed on the second day of school. I'm going to get to the school supplies in a minute. Remind me to answer that question. So they're going to get their Chromebook. Please, please, please help them remember to charge them at night. It's hard when we have, cords going all over the classroom because they're trying to charge them in the classroom. I see Jeannie Chufo laughing. She's the teacher, she knows. So we like them to be fully charged at night. Also, have them turn it off at night because there are updates that, I don't know, come from the ether down into your Chromebook. And if you want to keep their Chromebook, up to date, especially with things like, malware and all that kind of thing, turn it off each night, charge it, bring it the next day. We do offer insurance. It is highly recommended. It's not required, but you will be responsible if the Chromebook is damaged in the course of the year, and the insurance turns out to be a lot less expensive than replacing a $300 Chromebook. So I would recommend it if you can handle that.
We find out about the insurance when we're issued the book.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we will get you information about that. And I hate that I have to put that last bullet there, but a stylus, if you don't know what it is the little thing kind of like a pencil that goes in the side of their Chromebook. The new Chromebooks have a more theft-resistant stylus, but what we have found, and it's not just our school, please don't think we're awful. This is actually all across the country, but they're so small that kids steal them from each other and they sell them to other kids. We have a little black market in styluses. So again, I'm kind of embarrassed to say it, but it just is a fact. And what I would recommend, so you don't have to replace a $25 stylus, is, and we'll tell the kids this too, I suggest they don't keep it stored in their Chromebook in the little hole in their Chromebook, but they put it in their pocket or they put it in their backpack, and then it's not as easy for somebody just to take. And again, I hate to have to say that.
And you tell them all that it happens,
We do.
and so they're aware. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And we certainly follow through, and if we know we have a suspect, we know who might be doing it or might be selling them, we follow up, but it's just really hard to catch kids doing it, to be quite honest. So
Such a weird thing.
I know. So other school supplies.
School supplies. Yeah, that's the big
I get
question.
asked
Is
this a
what do
lot.
I go buy?
Yes. On the first day of school, They really just need something to write on and something to write with. That's it. I'm holding up paper and pen. Their teachers will let them know if they want them to have a special notebook or to have, you know, a binder that has different folders in it. But to be honest, with everybody having a Chromebook, 95% of what they're going to do is going to be on that Chromebook, and they may not need much more than a pad of paper and a pen or pencil.
Okay, so that's a good point.
Yes.
So I was concerned because there's no lockers. And
Nope.
I'm imagining all of my books that I'm carrying all day, but they don't have all those books.
They really don't. If for classes that have textbooks, they will have a class set at school, and we will send a book home with them that can live at home. They do not have to walk around with 50 pounds of books on their back. They will most, and I sometimes have to search backpacks so I know what's in them. They will have their Chromebook. They will have their PE clothes, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And they'll probably have some snacks and their phone. And that's what's going to be in there. And it's not that heavy. So, yeah. Okay. Oh, I might have a text message from my custodian. Give me just a moment. Let me make sure everything's good. Okay. All good. Okay. So that is it on school supplies. You don't need glue sticks and colored pencils and all that kind of stuff. Well, yeah. Yeah. Okay. No questions about school supplies. Awesome. Okay. I got one question. Teachers recommend binders at Cougar Camp today. 2 binders. One for periods 1 through 5 and one for periods 2, 4, 6. Okay, so
Binders like 3 ring?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wouldn't think a super thick one. So maybe like a 1 or 2 inch.
Half inch.
Mhm.
Inch maybe.
But I seriously would wait until they are in school and have seen each of their teachers before you spend money on anything, and wait and just see, because they may not need that at all. Okay, away for the day. You're going to love this. Your kids don't, but it's good for them. So this is what we do. All 5 of our middle schools in this district are away for the day schools, which means cell phones are not out. Don't panic, because I get that it's a scary time, you know, when we worry about things that could happen on campus that might be a safety concern. We are not taking your kid's phone away. They have their phone. They have access. And if God forbid something happened, they can call you. We will let them take their phone out of their backpack and reach out to you if something is going on. But research is clear, like it says up here, that students do much better socially and academically when they don't have easy access to their phones. So they are required to keep them in their backpack. They cannot have them in their back pocket, because it's way too easy to just sneak it under the desk and start doing whatever. So they keep them in their backpacks. You asked me when we were talking about this some last night, like about, do most 7th graders have a phone?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because according to my child, she's the only one on the planet
Right.
without a phone.
Right.
So what are the statistics?
She's not the only one, but I would say most middle schoolers do have a phone. Not all. There are plenty who are successful socially and in every other way without a phone, but most kids do have them. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
they do.
Okay.
Okay, so can students have their phones at school? Absolutely. They just have to be in their backpack from bell to bell. So after school, they can come and, you know, text you, coordinate with whatever might be going on. Apple Watches, great question. We do not currently have a prohibition or even a setting they have to change their Apple Watches to, but a student today told me that there is a setting where it can do time only. I didn't know that, so I learned something new. So we may push towards that a little bit later. The only time Apple Watches are not going to be permitted is when we're doing standardized testing in the spring. And that's a state mandate, not us. So they'll just put them in their backpacks. No big deal. What if you need to reach your student? You can call the office. I mean, kind of like when we went to school, right? We didn't have phones. Okay, you can call the school. We'll get your kid a message. We do have lots of forgotten items. So we actually have a bookshelf for it that'll be out in front. So if your kid gets to school and you realize their lunch is still there or their Chromebook is still there, sometimes their entire backpack is at home. I'm like, how did you walk all the way to school without knowing you didn't have a backpack on your back? But it happens. Yeah, honestly, a lot. So they forget. They're middle school. So you can bring whatever it is that they're missing. We have a little bookshelf. You'll write their name on it. If you think they don't know you're dropping it off, just pop your head in, let Veronica know. She'll do your kid will love this, but we'll do an all call during snack or lunch and say, you know, Aspen, come to the office, you know, and we won't tell them what it's for, but we'll just be like, the following students need to report to the office. They learn to go check the forgotten items shelf, and it's all good. That's all good. Yeah, no big deal. We have ways. We will get it. We'll get information to your kid if need be. Okay, let's see. Okay, dress code. I showed this to Staci. She laughed at my pictures. I just didn't want to have a lot of words up there. So 2 of these images are okay to wear, or what you're okay, represent what you're okay to wear at school. I'm sure you can guess that the beer is not. The reason that one is on there, not that we have kids drinking at school, I promise we don't. But there's 2 parts of the dress code. One is that students cannot wear on their body or even like a sticker on their helmet or a sticker on their water bottle. Stickers are a big thing right now. Don't put stickers on your Chromebooks, please. They cannot advertise or glamorize, something that's illegal for them to do, basically. So weed, they can't have a marijuana leaf on their sticker on their helmet. They just can't.
Or if their shirt says baked.
Yeah, not baked. No, not appropriate for school. Budweiser, Playboy Bunny, those types of things. We don't have a lot of that, but every now and then. So when you're doing your back to school shopping, please don't buy those things. Or you mentioned to me that you have, when you do laundry, tell me about the laundry.
Yes, we have a not for school pile of crop tops, and then we have the school pile.
Yeah. So they can wear whatever they want with you at home, but they will be dress coded for those things. And then the person who is on the far left there, parts of what that person is wearing are fine. So people have asked, like, how short can your shorts be? Our dress code, when it comes to body coverage, basically says the majority of your chest needs to be covered. Boy, girl, slim, curvy, non-binary, doesn't matter. The majority of your chest needs to be covered. The majority of your stomach needs to be covered. So 99% of our dress coding is for crop tops. And the kids, they ask me these questions. They get into the minutia of how much of my stomach can be showing. So I tell them I want their shirt and their pants to meet in the middle when they're standing normally, but it's not like old school where we pull out a ruler to measure something. As far as shorts or skirt length, and I'm just going to tell you exactly the words I use with the kids, your buttocks have to be completely covered.
That's the rule.
You may be uncomfortable with how short some of the shorts are, but as long as their buttocks are covered, we're not going to dress code them for it. They can wear yoga pants, bicycle shorts, it doesn't matter the tightness, but it's about kind of how much you're showing.
Are there shoe rules?
Just have to have on shoes.
Okay.
They can wear flip-flops. They are a ton of Crocs. Converses are huge right now, but no, we don't say what type of shoes they need to wear. But I would say the biggest thing is the crop tops. What's going to happen if your kid is dress coded? The first time we are going to, discreetly, that's a good word. I was going to say covertly, discreetly as possible. We don't want to draw major attention to it. That's not cool either. We're not about body shaming, none of that. But me or my assistant principal will have a discussion and we'll just say, what you're wearing today is a violation of the dress code. A lot of times I won't even bring him to the office because I see it when I'm out supervising. I'll be like, does your shirt and your pants meet in the middle? And I'll be like, not quite. I'm like, do you have a sweatshirt in your backpack? Great. Pull it out, wrap it around your waist. You're good. We don't need to bring them to the office and make it a big old thing. But if it's not possible for them to get, they've got 3 inches of belly showing or something, they'll come up to the office. We will give them a not pretty loaner PE shirt, which is kind of mortifying. And that's a little bit the purpose is so that they won't wear that shirt again. So anyway, It's not a huge deal, but I just wanted you to be aware so you're not wasting a lot of money on everything being crop tops. Okay.
It's a lunch question.
Okay, we're getting there. I'm going to move along. Okay. PE clothes. You asked about PE clothes. We will send you an email about this topic specifically, so you don't need to worry right now. You do not need to own anything for PE for the first couple of weeks of school. So again, you don't need to buy a thing at this point. You will have the opportunity to purchase these online through our web store. You could go ahead and do that if you want to. There's a link on our website to our web store. You can also, if your child does not want to wear our PE clothes, they don't have to, but they do have to wear, if you're going to buy your own shorts, the shorts need to be dark, so either navy blue or black. No pockets. We'll send this all to you. 99% of kids wear our PE clothes, so that's the easiest thing to do. But if you want to buy your own shorts, no pockets, they can't, in that case, they can't be, I don't know if people wear bike shorts anymore, but they can't be spandex for PE. Strangely enough, they can wear them the rest of the day, but not for PE. The t-shirts need to be similar to these t-shirts. It can be a white or a gray shirt. It doesn't have to be logo free, but it can't have a huge logo on it. I don't know why. This is just what I was told. So a huge, I don't know what, going across it. Yeah, let them wear the school clothes. Trust me. And please take them out and wash them every now and then.
How many sets of clothes? If they're going to PE, how often do they go to PE?
Every other day.
Okay, so just one set and wash it.
One set's plenty. And then you can buy that cute little bag if you want. A lot of kids buy the bag so they can keep it within their backpack, not touching everything else. They do get stinky. Yeah. So please wash them every now and then. Please, please, please. Okay, so PE clothes, easy peasy. All right, e-bikes. Okay. I sincerely lose sleep about this. No, I do. It scares me. The kids on the bikes are scaring me right now. And I think most of you, obviously you live in the community. We had a student in the district who died on his e-bike this year, and it just scares me to death. I'm not saying don't let your kid ride an e-bike. We have tons of kids riding their e-bikes, but please sit down and talk to them about how to be safe on them. They need to have their helmet buckled. It's the style right now for them just to have the straps dangling. Some of them buckle them on top of their helmet. That does no good. That doesn't protect the brain at all if something, happens. So we are going to enforce that as best we can, but many of them are just buckling them as soon as they're riding across the curb to come onto campus, and they haven't had them on the whole way coming from home. So that's a very important thing. Make sure it's properly fitted. If you don't know how to do it, there's YouTube videos. You can go to the bike shop. They will help you, but they're wearing them so loose that, again, it's not doing any good. Right. They can have a passenger on their bike as long as it is equipped for a passenger. So it needs to have that seat, and both people need to be wearing helmets. We'll talk to them about the rules as far as walking their bikes on campus. You don't need to worry about that, but I just wanted to impress upon you about the safety aspect.
I keep hearing that there's going to be increased rules and like regulation and licensing, not regulation. That sounds legal, but I mean like the kids, is there any training or license or certification required to ride their bike to school?
Sort of.
Okay.
So we're in transition on this. We have an amazing new superintendent, Dr. Staferi, and we have been talking to her a lot about this since she came on board. We want to get more consistent across the schools as far as what we're doing. And we actually want to make it similar to if you have kids who are at high school and they're getting a parking permit. We want to have a training that is led by both law enforcement and bike professionals, which I'm neither. And we want parents to attend as well. That works really well with the kids who are driving their cars to the high school campus, that you attend together and you're hearing the same message. We're not there yet. And so where we are right now at Diegueño is students will not have to do anything. Again, no pressure. Before school, you don't have to do a thing. We are going to be sending out information about how to fill out the application to ride a bike on campus. Okay, and it's on our website already. But you will have to sign that you have read the rules and you've reviewed them with your kid. We get information about what type of bike they ride, all that kind of thing. And then we will issue them a tag, not a permit, but it's a tag.
It says they did it.
Yeah, and I didn't have a picture up there, but anyway, there's a plastic tag that they will need to affix to their bike. We're not enforcing those bike tags until October. So we've got plenty of time to get the application done. The piece that we're sort of playing with is in the past, we have hosted a bike safety workshop on campus. And that was one of the ways your child could meet the requirement to attend a bike safety workshop in order to keep their tag, essentially. We didn't love the quality of the bike safety workshop that we offered. Quite frankly, we didn't feel like it was good enough and that it was addressing enough of the important things that we needed to. So we are going to be sharing information with you about high quality bike safety classes, both in person and online, that your child can participate in. That'll be coming, but they can get their tag without that. Yeah, we got time, but we don't want to just dial it in. We want to do it right. And so we're working on it.
To backtrack, PE.
Yes.
Are there PE lockers, or they carry their clothes, and how much time do they have to change?
Perfect. Good questions. There are PE lockers. they can only keep their clothes in there while they're in the PE class. So again, it's not a permanent locker that's assigned to them that they can leave their PE clothes. Their PE clothes are going to go back into their backpack and go home with them each day.
Okay.
How long do they have to change? About 10 minutes. We have showers in there. No one takes a shower, although please send deodorant. Please send deodorant. Not Axe body spray, just deodorant. But they do have plenty of time to change.
One more kind of PE question. For ISPE, is the back gate on La Posta open for the kids to leave campus early? And on Wednesday and Friday, can they leave at the start of lunch, or are they required to stay through lunch?
ISPE questions. Okay, so we're in transition with that too. In the past, there hasn't been a PE teacher on campus teaching the ISPE class. This year they will. Mr. McCullough is going to be teaching. We have about 75 kids. ISPE stands for Independent Study PE. So there are certain students who have, in the spring, we can't do it now, it's too late now, but submitted an application saying that they participate in an individual sport that is preparing them to be pre-professional or like Olympic bound. I mean, it's pretty high standards. In high school, it's really high standards. Here, it's like you're on your way. So if someone is a serious ice skater or equestrian, it can't be team sports like soccer and that kind of thing. It has to be individual because it has to meet the California Ed Code requirements for PE.
Right.
And so they have to be participating a certain number of hours under the supervision of an approved coach. So anyway, we're past that deadline now, but if your kid is already in ISPE, they will be meeting with Mr. McCullough the first week of school, and he will get more information out to you about releasing them. What we've done in the past, and I think it will be the same, but don't hold me to this, is if it's a day that fifth period is their last period of the day, so the odd periods, 1, 3, 5, I anticipate that they will be able to leave before lunch, but I want to wait for final word from Mr. McCullough. So if your kid's in ISPE, you're going to get a lot more info, but that is typically been the
And
case.
they can leave through that back gate, maybe?
They can leave through the back gate or the front gate.
Okay.
Yep.
We still have a lunch
Okay.
question.
Okay.
Bike question. Do you need a tag for non-electric bikes?
We are going to do tags for anything they would have to wear a helmet. So we even have a kid who rides her scooter to school. She wears a helmet. We're going to put a bike tag on that. That gate is, good question.
By Sun Vista Park.
Yes. So our back gate is on Avenida La Posta, I think is the name of the street, right? But by Sun Vista Park, kids do enter and exit there. We have a campus supervisor out there before and after school to help supervise. A lot of kids walk to the front of the school. Parents who drive, you can drop them off wherever you want. We do have a lot of people who drop off in the drop-off circle up here, but that, especially the first week or so of school, is going to be fairly backed up. And so I would drop them off a few blocks from campus at least. They can walk a few blocks, right?
Yeah.
And then you're not stuck in that traffic.
And then there's that
circle.
walking entrance off Springwood in
Okay.
the morning sun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Just
Somebody-
a lunch question, but
Question about
go ahead.
ISPE. So ISPE on most kids' schedule will be their 6th period. So they will not go to I said 5th period. I meant 6th period. Thank you for saying that. 6th period. It is not 5th period. It's 6th period. There are a few kids who might be in band who it might not be on their schedule. They'll have 6 classes and ISPE, but that's a real specialized thing. But I meant to say 6th period. I apologize. So if your kid's in ISPE on 2, 4, 6 days, they can leave at lunchtime.
And then a question about the back gate, how early and late it's open.
They are open all the time. Okay. And I'm just going to confront that right now because I know that's a concern, especially people who are coming, from an elementary school. There's a concern about our back gate being open, and I get calls about it a lot. We pull it too, but I'm going to be honest, it is an open access point because people have to drive deliveries in through there. Right now, our district office is being completely renovated. And so we have district office personnel who are in our portables in the back, and they have to have deliveries to and fro. But we do our very best to monitor who's coming in through that back gate. But I get that that's a huge difference between the elementary school. Yeah, and I understand that. Okay, bikes. Let's move on. food.
Okay.
Okay.
The only question that I saw was,
Yes.
can they buy food from some sort of campus store if they
Okay.
don't want to do
Okay.
the provided?
Okay. All right. Good question. So this year, again, all students can have free lunch and free breakfast. So breakfast is served before school. It used to be served during nutrition break, but we don't have enough manpower to do that anymore. So they can get free breakfast before school. During nutrition break, we don't have vending machines on campus anymore. They will need to have something in their backpack or have saved something from the free breakfast in the morning. And then during lunchtime, I'm going to tell you the truth. Your kids are going to tell you something different. You know, every single day we have pizza, and it's Domino's pizza. And it's a healthier version of Domino's pizza because it has to meet, again, California Ed Code. So it's a more multi-grain crust than what the pizza is that you order at home. But it's decent pizza. So every day we have pizza. That does, I don't want to say sell out because they don't buy it, but we do run out of pizza most days. But like the last 5 people may not get pizza. We usually have 3 or 4 different choices every day. So if they come home and say they ran out of food, what they mean to say is they ran out of my first choice. We never, ever run out of all meals. So almost every day there will be hummus and vegetables. So there's a healthy vegan option, pizza every day. And then the third option sometimes is a yogurt parfait. Sometimes it's pickup sticks. Sometimes it's a cheeseburger. There's at least 3 options every single day.
Okay. And is there a way to buy food?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, if they want to know,
Like a snack?
Actually,
from like
no.
there's not like a
I'm
campus
thinking back, we
store.
used to, we don't.
Okay,
We
all
do
right.
not, you cannot buy
Okay.
food from school.
And what time is that breakfast open?
They start at, I think, 7:45. So 7:45 to 8:15, half an hour, they'll be able to get their lunch.
Is there an online menu?
Yes.
Okay.
On the Nutrition Services website, you can see exactly what they're serving each day. And then you asked me the other day whether most kids buy, buy lunch, stand in line for lunch or bring lunch. A lot of kids bring their lunch. And I would say for the first couple of weeks of school, you might want to send it just because the lines, just like the traffic, the lines for lunch are longer for the first week because kids, the way they get their lunch is they need to know their student ID number. We will train them on this. We will hand them a piece of paper with it on it and everything. But if you want to have them write it on their hand or something, that will help. They'll memorize it super quickly. They will have that same number from 7th grade, 8th grade, all the way through high school. And I know we're running out of time. I didn't realize I'd gone over, but we're getting close to being done. Lunch period is 35 minutes plus a 5-minute passing period. So once we get into the swing of things, a couple of weeks into school, those lines will be completely cleared within 10 to 15 minutes.
Wow.
The kids are going to come home and say, I stood in line the whole time and they ran out of everything. They don't stand in line the whole time, even the first day of school. So most of the time they'll have at least 20 minutes to eat and to visit with friends.
And how long is the break?
The snack break in the morning is 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yep.
And then are both grades snacking and eating lunch at the
Everybody's
same time?
out there together. Yep. Those are good questions. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I didn't
We
realize
got
I
it.
was,
Yep, we're good.
sorry.
No, we
Okay.
got all the questions.
Okay. Mosey Monday, we're almost done. Mosey Monday, I highly recommend that your child at least, and you're welcome to come too, and a lot of families do come with their kid. This is Monday, the day before school starts, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. You're going to want to either print or have them look up their schedule before they get here. If they get here and they don't know their schedule, we will help them, but we can't help 800 kids find their schedule. So look it up before they come. Campus is open. We're out there helping them find their
Are
classrooms.
there maps? I know you gave us a map.
There's a map on the school website. We're
Okay.
not going to hand them out,
Okay.
but I will literally walk them to their class and show them where it is.
Okay.
And the same thing for the whole first week of school, not just the first day. So Mosey Monday's a really fun time. We'll have music playing, all kinds of stuff. And I think I'm almost done. I think that's it. Questions.
Yeah, you did.
Sorry, I went long. So I'm looking at the chat. Any
Yeah.
questions you might
Ask
have?
anything?
This has been recorded. We're going to send this out to everybody. Any other questions? Do we have smoke detectors in the bathroom? We do not. Last year, one of our high schools and one of our middle schools, I think Oakcrest and Torrey Pines, did a pilot with vape sensors, not smoke detectors, but vape sensors. They're different. And what they found was they were going off all the time, not because kids were vaping, but it just kept the assistant principal running out there all the time. So what our approach is, and I'm not going to say we don't have any vaping on campus because every middle school in the country does, but I would prefer not to catch them doing it, but to prevent them from doing it in the first place. One of my favorite things about this campus is we only have one set of bathrooms. There are bathrooms in the locker room, but when kids are out at snack and lunch, which is when vaping tends to occur, I am literally myself standing in between those two bathrooms. I go in and out of the girls' bathroom a lot. And again, they say, "Are you trying to catch us?" I'm like, "Nope. I want you to know I'm coming in. Don't do it in the first place." Right. And then the boys' bathroom, they're right next to each other. I can hear what's going on in there. So if I hear they're having a little bit too much fun in the bathroom, I can call a male campus supervisor to come over and check on them. So,
Okay, and we're going to have another supervisor this year, right? We're doubling them.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And then how large, I know you told me this, how large is the seventh
I
grade
can
class?
tell you exactly.
How many students total, all of that?
We have seventh grade. We have, as of today, 386 seventh graders, 385 eighth graders. So just about split down the middle for a total of 771 students.
Isn't that somewhere just over 700 families? Like, I thought it's like 730 some odd families.
That's right. Yep. Because we've got
734.
multiples. We've got some
Yeah.
twins. I don't think we have any triplets this year, but twins. Yeah.
The Beierschmidts are coming.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Help me look at questions here. And if you need to go, I understand. How many students total? 771. Oh, good. I'm glad that I gave you the information that you needed. And reach out anytime.